it going, people? We are back again after like a bit of a break with good news, with happy outcomes all around. After the debacle that was the El Clasico a couple of weeks ago, this is a very unexpected turn of events, especially how we played last night. It's a historic nature. Like we had a very poor record against Chelsea, in which we played them 5 times. We never won. 3 losses and 2 draws. Considering the size of Chelsea, it was kind of embarrassing. But the boys made us proud. Not gonna lie. Yeah. What did you guys think?
One word, Benzema. That's
the
all.
greatest player of all time.
All there is, all that needs to be said is Benzema. Like, wow, that man is amazing. I love him, and I'm so angry that he's not as good on FIFA.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess
Like-
not being good at FIFA, that depends on the player, right? If you're that good, then
I mean, on the other hand, Pulisic is amazing on FIFA. So there's that,
It's Captain
Looks
America.
like we can't judge by FIFA. Who would have thought? Anyways, I was honestly surprised. I was not expecting us to win, especially comfortably. I was expecting the same thing that happened with PSG, because Ancelotti tends to become a coward in big games for some reason, but not this time. This time we played really, really well, and I would hesitate to say that we dominated Chelsea. No, I think Chelsea kind of what happened was more on Chelsea than something we did. Like basically it was just Benzema's show, and everybody else was there to watch it, because other than Benzema, we were not like high above Chelsea. I think it was a rather equal game, more or less. But we just had the Benzema factor, and that's why we won so comfortably, and that's amazing. What can I say? 2 back-to-back hat tricks at Champions League knockout games.
Yeah, it's not a small feat for sure. Farooq, like, what did you think about the lineup when you saw it first?
Okay, so before I go to the lineup, can I just add on what Nodo said actually? So for me, actually, yesterday, I was watching the game, and there was one thing I actually noticed. Like, the game was actually, in my opinion, was similar to the Paris game. Now the difference is this. In the Paris game, they had an extra midfielder to mark Vinicius out, right? Danilo. So like in the game yesterday, I think actually even for the first goal, it was a similar, like, we just broke, and from Benzema to Vinicius, Vinicius to Benzema, Benzema to Vinicius again, and then Vinicius to the goal. To Benzema for a goal. You get it, right? So like what happened was that in the Paris game, we were unable to make those breaks. You get the point? Like, so the thing was that you're trying to like break the press of the other team, like of the opposing team. So I feel like yesterday against Chelsea, I don't know what happened, but I think Thomas Tuchel like underrated Vinicius so much that he just felt like, okay, like let's shun Christensen on him and see how it goes, So like I felt that was the key thing there. Like that Christensen Vinicius matchup, I think that was a very, very key thing, and that actually made us able to do what we were unable to do against Paris actually in the first leg of the game. Yeah, so to the lineup, I think like that's what I wanted actually. Like I think 90% of the Madrid fans, except those who were like hating on Cruz, who wanted Cruz for Camavinga or something like that. Well, like for me, that was my dream side of like I couldn't do anything better than that. So yeah. And
I
think Jovic should have played instead of Benzema, but yeah, and everything else. Everything else is fine.
Yeah, so it was a good lineup, to be honest, and like I think that's the best you can do actually. I think right now, because the point is that, to be honest, like both Asensio and to some extent Rodrigo are not giving enough, so you just need to get extra. And to be honest, one more thing, like Kante was so off his game as well. Really,
mean,
it was like that's my
he-
greatest fear also.
it's
And Kante was so off his game. So
he was rumored to be like carrying a slight knock, so I think that would have hindered his.
yes,
uh,
man, as long as he was fit to play, then that's the problem. And it shows that Casemiro is the king of CDMs.
guys,
fair.
don't you think, like, I've been thinking, like, it's kind of embarrassing that a center midfielder takes your spot at right wing. Two people, like, not one person's spot, two people's spot. Like,
Mm.
yes, Valverde is amazing, but he's a midfielder,
Yeah.
and those guys are right wingers.
Mm.
It's kind of embarrassing, right? Come
I
on,
don't
It
how
is,
think
can
it's embarrassing. For me, the thing is like Valverde's inclusion brings in balance that maybe the inclusion of the other two does not. Because let's be honest, like while we do agree that Asensio and Rodrigo have their own qualities, I think in a game like this, especially, we needed an extra man in the midfield. I think Valverde provided that. He had the ability to break past Azpilicueta, and he also had the ability to press whenever we needed add a man in the midfield. So I think it boils down to the roles, and that was something that I don't think Asensio or Rodrigo can provide. And the things that they bring to the team, I don't think they would have necessarily helped us in this game. So
yeah,
I don't
that's
know. I just think it's like going with the right horse for the course.
Actually, I don't know, but I felt like if we had actually like a more competent winger, I think most likely you don't need to have an extra man in midfield.
yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
thing is like you could remember like the times of the BBC, and also like with Barcelona's MSN, also even with Liverpool's Firmino, Mane, and Salah. I think if you have enough threat there, but I just feel like the problem is that especially with Asensio, he doesn't give enough threat, and Rodrigo also to some extent doesn't have enough output. That's why like you just find, okay, rather than being on the front foot with these guys, I can give extra body that gives me more solidity and more foundation to build, instead of going with, I don't know, with offensiveness. This is what I think actually about that.
I think the fact
I
is
agree.
like you have to build a team for the realities of the squad that you have.
Yeah.
While Liverpool has their front three, they have a midfield with different characteristics. And right now our midfield is like whether we want to accept it or not, slightly in decline. So maybe this is something that Cruz fans would not like to hear. But the thing is, like, Cruz is slowing down.
There was a moment in the second half, like towards the 65th minute, like
I just want to be honest. The thing is, like,
people. Yeah.
Cruz still has the ability to control the tempo. I'm not saying that, but what
He
I'm
has the
saying
ability
is,
to control the tempo, but he doesn't have the legs anymore. Sorry about that. It's
but he
kind
does
of
not. But he has sort of started losing out on his ability to resist the press. Make the subtle movements and get out of the
because
traps.
he has genuinely become very slow, bro. Like very slow. Like
Kroos was
at
always
this
slow,
level.
I mean,
I
I don't think it's just slowness. It's the fact that people around him are also slow, like are also not making the correct off the ball movements and
it is indeed a
opening up
matter of
outlets.
pace, right?
Sorry.
It's indeed a matter of having legs. Like that's why I wanted to go back to my earlier question that I wasn't happy with the lineup, because seeing KCM back in the lineup for Chelsea, I was thinking it was going to be a repeat of last year. I wanted like Kamavinga to start.
I think what Cruz gives you is the ability to control play, and the thing is, like, when
sure.
Chelsea were only going with two midfielders in Jorginho and Kante, the thing is, like, we were able to stretch them, and we opened a lot of spaces in between the lines. That is something that helped us out. And when you have Cruz, he gives you the ability to pass the ball into areas you want. Kamavinga is also like a decent passer from what he has shown us so far, but he does not have the ability of Cruz to control the game. So from that aspect, I understood why Carlo went with Cruz, but I think there are certain limitations that Cruz brings to the game currently. And overall, like, okay, I understood why he started, but then I also wanted Carlo to introduce Kamavinga into the game as a substitute at least. So maybe while he did that around like the 75th minute or something, I probably wanted him to come on earlier, maybe around the 65th or something around that time.
Because we went under the cosh for like 10-15 minutes in the second half, which was hard to watch, to be honest. Very hard to watch.
For me personally, it's not that. The thing is, like, when they are taking shots that are from outside the box, they were good shots, but when you're limiting them to taking shots outside the box, what kind, I think you're doing your job. The job is to protect the box. You have to prevent them from entering the box.
We were getting over in midfield. Like, I'm pretty sure Like,
I mean,
all
we
right.
literally. I think my take is like we were being conservative, and because we already had a 2-goal lead, I
Mm.
think we would rather take back a 2-goal lead to the Bernabeu than a 1-goal lead, right? So
Definitely.
if we still had that, we might have been left open.
Yeah.
So I think at that point the strategy was to protect our box. So limiting them to the shots from outside is something that
Yeah.
is understandable.
Game
Mm.
management, you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like coming back to the first half, how good were Benzema's goals? Like, is this a surprise anymore? Like, his consistency and in the end his off the ball movement is mad. Like for a guy of his age, and like
I mean,
I don't know how.
I think there's a legitimate conversation to be had about the fact that what age do we consider old these days? Because
Mm.
with the advancement that we have in grain preparation and medical science that is available to these players, I think we have reached a point where we are able to keep players who take care of their bodies fitter for longer.
Yeah, it's
you know?
definitely shifting up.
Yeah, so I think with that in mind, we have to like have a discussion over that. But even as for Benzema's performance yesterday, I would like to say like even the most ardent of Ronaldo fans were saying that
That's
Benzema
why.
is the goat. We have a
That's why
special
I
over
wanted to
here.
ask Ria.
So,
Like I want to ask Ria, like just to cut your short. Sorry, okay. Like
it's okay.
Ria, like have you seen Ronaldo carry us this bad?
No.
It's like so. Okay, that was very easy.
I think I answered what you didn't expect.
For sure. I wasn't expecting it, but so you
You
genuinely
weren't
think.
expecting the spontaneity in saying no.
Okay, just a plain no.
No, but Ria, but you genuinely think that Benzema has been more of a big game player than Cristiano back in the day?
Yes, definitely. Benzema, like Cristiano with the 16, 17, 18 squad, I don't think that he was the alone who was carrying the team because the club was super duper strong at that time. But Benzema at this point of time is definitely having a bigger impact on the Madrid because if we see we have little weaker points, which can turn out to be a little like if he is not in the game, we are actually in a very bad position. So yes, he definitely does have a stronger impact.
Have you ever
Just-
thought like how one guy can make all the difference?
Yeah, I think he has been impacting all the forwards. Like even I think Vinicius' performance has improved when he is playing with Benzema, and when he goes off, Vinicius lost his way. So I think Benzema is actually is a very like important player at this point of time. I'm not sure if Benzema is not there where we would be. Like maybe we would be like Barcelona's state if he wasn't there for us.
In the
Thursday
Europa
night in
League.
Greece, people, but
But Sunil, I just want to chip in and say something. Like you asked two questions, right? First was is Benzema has Benzema carried Real Madrid more than Ronaldo did? And I think that is a fair question to ask. But then I think asking if Benzema is more of a big game player compared to Cristiano is something I do not agree with, because I think
for sure.
I think what Cristiano has done, like even surrounded by those huge talents, is like it is something special, So I wouldn't rate Cristiano. Like I think Benzema has been good, but Cristiano was also good,
Who
and
is
that's
that
coming from a massive
Cristiano guy? I
Definitely.
need to Google him.
Yeah, I mean, both were good, but yeah, at this point of time, I think okay, Benzema. I just want to salute him. He is like God. He's everything to Real
First
Madrid.
player, first
Yeah,
player
but-
ever to score a hat trick against Chelsea in Europe. I know it's not such a big deal, but it's still something. And
I think he brings different kind of energy on the ground when all the players are like everyone. He gives some kind of energy to all the players, and everyone is so much energetic and so much better in their position and so much confident. The team looked confident. They were energetic. They know what to do. Like when he was not there in El Clasico, I was like, what are we doing it? Do they even know what they are trying to do, what they are trying to achieve? But when Benzema is there, everyone knows what to do and how to just give him a pass. Even I was expecting that Vinicius goal should have been gone into that, because it would have been 4-0, but maybe it wasn't meant to be.
You know what I like? Benzema is so happy. And how I can tell is that if you guys follow Benzema on
Yeah,
Instagram,
I posted it on the list.
he
Like
posted more stories than he has scored goals in his career.
It looks like a caterpillar, right? Like his Insta story.
it's like a millipede,
Yeah.
an insect with a million
Seriously.
legs.
No, I just as said that if I don't mind watching his 1,000 stories if he's going to bang his head like this in every game, so it's fine. Right? He just
Banging his head reminds me, like, how did he score that first goal? How did he shoot it? Like, how did he give it so much power? I still don't understand.
Mid-flight.
I think that is a technique. That's something you cannot teach.
That completely caught Mendy in no man's land. Like he was like, "Oh, it's the near post. I've got it covered," but like it went a little bit further to the left. It was mad. Like
Yeah,
I
it
didn't.
was
I didn't expect
crazy.
it was unrealistic, unbelievable. It was like,
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
did this
But-
really
but the-
happen? Okay.
When I saw it connecting to
Yeah.
his head, I did not expect it to go in. There's
But the
not
second
even like
goal, the movement,
close.
like Thiago Silva is anticipating Benzema, like being right next to him, but he peels away backward and directs the header from the direction which the ball came in. Like it's insane.
I
Like,
think those two goals
Yeah,
provided an
yeah.
interesting contrast in techniques. The
Yeah.
first one was about power, generating power through his technique. The second was just giving it direction.
placement, pure placement. Like I've no idea how he expects Mendy to falter that, because he's diving the right way and still he can't get a hand to it.
Like
I-
The third one was all about his 220 IQ.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
When I was watching the game, the commentator said that the reason that Valverde was playing is that the players asked Carlo to play Valverde instead of anyone else on the right wing, which I don't know, like, if you've heard of that or not, but I wanna hear it if it's real or
I
not.
didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
okay,
me
well,
neither. I didn't hear about it, but even
okay,
if I
then it's
heard, like,
probably not true.
So
I
guys,
If it's
want to know
true,
who
it's not
said it.
true.
So guys, did you see that he hit like he just actually accidentally hit Carlo and just went on and he
Career
just hit the
ending
Carlo's
injury.
knees? No?
Yeah, I saw that video. I saw that
It
video.
was funny.
Yeah,
It
I was
actually funny.
watching it, like, I saw it live, like I was looking at Carlo, not the ball at that time. I was like, is he gonna be okay? He almost
just hit it.
died.
Yeah, he just hit a actually recovered patient. Like, it was so funny.
But going back to Benzema, I think the game against PSG and now against Chelsea, do you guys think that this is Benzema's Champions League moment? The thing is, like, okay, I'm probably going to refer to, like, wrestling. Maybe that's not the best comparison, but everybody who watches WWE might know this. Like, every wrestler wants to have their WrestleMania moment, star at the biggest stage. So in football, I think Champions League is the biggest stage. Like, no disrespect to the World Cup, but I think like Champions League is one of the biggest stages that there can be. And now, like, we have seen, like, for the past 4 years, Benzema has, like, stepped up massively. But the thing is, like, he did not have that one Champions League moment where you could point out and say,
He had two back-to-back now.
and now he has had two back-to-back, So, and other players, like, who have this contention about being one of the greats, they don't have this moment. Like, even like when you look at Lewandowski, he had a moment back in 2013 against, like, sadly it was against us.
Yeah.
So every striker who is qualified, like, as one of the best has to have that moment. I think this period of time that Benzema is going through, that this was his Champions League moment.
But then,
Yeah.
speaking of Champions League moments, like, do you think, like, if we eventually get knocked out, like, doesn't it, like, stain the moment for him or something
It
like
would,
that?
for sure.
Because, like, for example, you can see, like, when Ronaldo had the back-to-back, like, he won the Champions League, for example.
Unless you win it, nobody is going to be talking about any of this. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
That's it, like,
One
actually,
thing,
even though because you just mentioned Lewandowski thing right now, I wouldn't have remembered it actually because, like, he didn't win the stuff and it just
Absolutely. But for us, like, we would personally remember it, but I don't think others would,
Yeah. I actually, for me personally, actually, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind when he mentioned Lewandowski. Well, yeah, it's
But coming back to
I think the
game,
thing is, like, Benzema had this moment against PSG, especially after the summer where they assembled this very expensive squad and had a front line of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. So I think that game is probably going to live on. But if we
Messi,
crash
isn't
out,
that the guy
people,
that scored like his third goal of the season in League One?
I mean,
Like
just
a
leave that
few
guy
days
out.
ago?
But the thing is, like, if if we crash out, I think people might forget about Chelsea, but the other one will still linger on.
No, no,
That's
no.
my take.
People should not forget about Chelsea. Mason Mount should lose his sleep over all the 11 players. Like he said, Cruz will be having difficulty sleeping over our players. So, no, I'm just so happy. I can make fun of Chelsea fans now. I'm so
I
glad.
haven't wanted somebody to break Ronaldo's 17 goal record before this. Now I want like Benzema to bang more hat tricks and
It's just two
like
games, man. He needs 2 more games to reach that.
two more games to beat. So imagine if he actually does it and actually breaks Ronaldo's record. That would be honestly
It's far from
amazing,
it,
and it
far
would be
away from
very
it.
symbolic as
Nodo
well.
sounds so evil right now. Nodo sounds so evil. This is
All
so
we need to do is
He's
give
a
him a
hype
cat.
merchant, No, don't do it. Don't do it. Let's just wait and pray. That's the best course of action. But yeah, coming back to the game, we were cruising 2-0. Like the perfect start. We couldn't have asked for anything better. In the first 25, 30 odd minutes, and then Chelsea pull one back out of nothing. What did you guys think of their goal? Like a brilliant.
I think for me, 3 things stood out. First was Reece James. I think I finally understood why everybody hypes him so much.
He's good.
Yeah.
Very
Second thing was, why did we let Jorginho have so much space? Like, why?
Yeah.
That's the thing that immediately came to my mind. I was like, why is Jorginho?
Because of Reece
unmarked?
James, actually.
In between him playing the pass and like him receiving the ball, like there was so much time.
Yeah, and
Kroos
I think Nodo pointed out. He said it was because of Reece James, so it just adds to what I was saying, that I finally understood why Reece James is so highly rated by a lot of people.
My analysis of that moment was like Reece James doing his thing, makes Kroos come towards him to cover Reece James. Reece James passes to open Jorginho, and Jorginho then throws in his cross. And for some reason, Kai Havertz is being covered by Carvajal, who nearly kills Kai Havertz, instead of Militao, who would easily head it away. I don't know where Militao was, or why wasn't he covering his own spot. Like I'm not like saying like, oh, it's because of Militao all of this happened, but if Militao was covering his own position, it probably wouldn't have gone to.
That was one of the very few clear-cut chances they had, and this gives them a genuine lifeline. Like, if we would like to believe that or not, but they're still in this because of that goal.
Yeah, I think I just want to go back and make the third point that I was trying to make. Is like it ties into what Nodo was saying. Is like I think we need to be better on a defensive assignment, especially on crosses, which I think we have been harping on. We've been beating this drum that we are pretty bad on dealing with crosses. And the other aspect of it is like Kai Havertz is somebody who has developed like exponentially ever since he's gone to Chelsea, because I did not realize that he was so good in the air. But I was made aware like over the past week that Kai Havertz is somebody who has developed.
He's just 6 foot, I think, right?
No, I mean he's genuinely good in the air.
Definitely.
And I think we're gonna approach this topic later on about Lukaku. So, but I think like he provided an interesting contrast.
Yeah, so that wound up the first half. We go in 2-1, and then straight from kickoff, I don't know what these guys were smoking. Tuchel's halftime team talk right down the drain, like Rudiger and Mandy involved in one of the most comical, mess ups.
When I saw Mendy came out and Benzema was chasing Mendy, I was like, that's a Benzema goal. That is 100% Benzema goal. I've seen this 1,000 times. That's a goal. Surely, of course.
I don't get what Mendy was doing. Were there stones in his shoes or something? Like how do you play such a bad pass?
If you were a goalkeeper and you saw Benzema running at you, you'd panic.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the number of times Chelsea players tried to close out Courtois, and Courtois handled them? So I think like Mendy, I still don't understand what pass he was playing. Like, how do you misplace that when the other guy is like 3 steps,
he's
to your side?
3, like by the time his long lanky legs starts the animation to make a pass.
Yeah,
Benzema,
this guy plays too much FIFA. You can know that.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. Like for the 15 seconds when Mendy is thinking, oh, it's a simple, sideway pass to Rudiger. Benzema is not in the picture. He's still, like way away. But then within like three or 2 seconds, he's right in your face. And the fun fact is Rudiger was on a yellow, and that's why people say he hesitated to, go for the challenge. But the determination, the aggression, the relentless nature of Benzema is mad. Like,
I mean, this is the fourth goalkeeper is done to that. We remember, right? After Ulreich and I don't know who was the other guy.
Ulreich, Karius,
Karius,
Donnarumma, and Mandy.
Mandy, yeah. So I think Benzema has some, maybe he should be tried in court for this.
I've seen all 4 of those live, and I'm still laughing about them. All 4 of those.
Like we have this thing with modern goalkeepers, and like everyone wants to play out of the back, and like you're like prime. I don't know. They want to just be fancy and all that. I feel like as a goalkeeper, your first job is just to get to security first and foremost.
There was an interesting thing that I heard.
That good.
There's an interesting thing that I heard about what Farouk said. Is like coaches these days. I think it was Wayne Rooney who said it, or I'm not sure who said it. It's like coaches these days, they want everybody to play out from the back, but when they make mistakes, we are always blaming the players instead of the fact that the managers are the one who are asking them to always play out from the back. So I think when you have a player like Edouard Mendy, for all his like good qualities, that he's not good at off the feet. So probably you don't ask him to always be playing out of the back. Sometimes you just ask him to like hoof the ball out.
Sometimes in tight games, they are encouraged to do it more because
actually, the thing, Sunaid, is this like the point is that this person, like you guys train with him every day, and like for every single person who's watched Edouard Mendy play across the past year, knows that this guy is shit when it comes to like playing out from the back with his feet. You understand? But like he's a very good like reflex goalkeeper. So the point is, why would you keep asking them to keep doing this when they're under pressure? Like, okay, I can say to you like when
I could think of mainly only one thing that Tuchel would have said in his halftime pep talk. It's to be calm. Like I noticed that Chelsea was a bit like they were trying to do like pass out from the back very quickly and whatnot. Like there wasn't much composure in their defense, and I think Tuchel advised them to be calm and invite pressure so that you can
break the pressure.
Benzema. I think that's what they did. They tried to do, at least.
I just felt like it was because, to be honest, like for me, I really don't care about what happened with Rudiger or not. Like the pass just sold him short. Like whatever happened, like he was just there to try to fix something, and he shouldn't be in that position in the first place. And he has a yellow card. So if he misses the tackle, it's a red card for sure.
Oh, I totally missed out on that. Like, was this miss in the first half? It wasn't the first half, right?
It was the first half. It was the first half.
First half. Like,
yeah,
how did you miss it? On his weak foot, but
I think it was more of the fact that Jorginho was sliding in behind him, and his foot sort of got stuck.
Yeah.
If Benzema had gone down, I think that would have been a penalty.
Like, I think his intervention made it like absolutely on a plate for him, right? Like when Jorginho slid in, it was right in his path.
No. I think Benzema's trailing foot when he makes the movement to hit the ball, his feet sort of tangle with Jorginho's, so which is why he sort of fluffed it. But I think if Benzema had gone down at that moment, I think it might have been a shot for a penalty.
Yeah, so we get the third goal, gift wrapped for Benzema. We are still doing pretty good, but like around I think the 60th minute they tried to introduce Lukaku, right? 60th or the 65th minute, and this guy is meant.
This is the segment I'm waiting for.
Meant to drag your team back against the perennial pantomime villains of Real Madrid. Like give them a fighting chance. How did you guys think we managed to cope with them, or did we even have to do anything?
Yeah, I'll probably let Farouk answer this one first.
I think the thing with Lukaku is like he's a curious case, to be honest. Like I think the point is like, so we have people like Benzema, right? So like, and the thing is that when you have people like Benzema, you see like how flexible and adaptable they are, right? And like how strong. So you can actually, let's just give a context here. The point is that Benzema played for like 9 seasons at Real Madrid so far, right? And I think for 5 of it, he's played like as a backup to Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And like in this 9th season also, like I think for 5 years or for 6 years, he didn't play for France as well, right? And like,
You,
right now
you
he's
shouldn't
like,
let Benzema hear you say that he was back after Cristiano. He'll be pretty angry.
whatever, it is what it is anyways. You understand? So whether like Benzema likes to admit it or not, like he
I'll
keeps
allow it for this time. Yeah, go on.
so
Go on.
he's always been saying like I've always been this good, but I'm just playing behind someone who scores 60 goals. That's why you guys don't see that. But in my opinion, I think he evolved. Like he got better, and I think that's one good thing about him. He adapts, and he has a very strong character. Actually, like given all the things that happen, but he's still like this good. Then when you consider the case of Lukaku, he's a very curious case in time that he only works under certain conditions, or outside of these conditions, he doesn't fit. Like, and he's unable to adapt. So I think this is like a negative for him. But away from
Like Messi.
But I think away from that, really, I feel like when you check his records, like at other teams who have like tried to build the team around his around his strength rather than his weaknesses. Because the thing with Lukaku is that I feel like people just assume that okay, he's a big black physical guy, so let's just lump the ball into the box and he's gonna head it in. And as we saw yesterday with 2 chances, that's not his game. When you go back to like West Bromwich Albion or at Everton or at Inter, you see like they build a team around him, which is based on a counter-attacking approach. You understand? But like at United and at Chelsea, they're just like, okay, let's dump it to the big guy and then he brings the ball down and this and that. So that's not like, just as Mo was pointing out earlier, like with Kai Havertz, like Kai is his head.
Bro, you make very valid points. Sorry to cut you off, but the chance he got, like, don't you think a championship striker, even Tony might finish that? Don't you think?
The thing is, like even the best strikers in the world, like case point is Suarez, like he misses the simplest chances and scores the most difficult ones. So like every striker is gonna miss like even open goal. Like we've seen these things, you understand? So it's not.
Disclaimer: he's a staunch defender of Romelu Lukaku, right, Farouk?
No, actually, the point I'm trying to make is that I'm just saying like Lukaku is not as bad as they made him seem. You understand? Okay, he has his.
He's not bad, you think?
He's not adaptable. I get that, but like the point is that this guy. Like you're a Milan fan. You know what Lukaku did in 2 seasons at Inter. You know this. Like
because he's a Milan fan, he does not want to give Lukaku his flowers.
Lukaku was in a system where others used to do the dirty work for him. That's a fact. Like
who cares, man? Who cares about like I've seen I think you can remember the Milan derby where he like literally took the ball from half of the pitch and scored against.
He ran and scored a goal. Brilliant stuff. But it was a team that played to him. Like you could do that. You could do that at West Ham or Lyon, but not at Chelsea, unfortunately.
What I'm saying now is that like Chelsea shouldn't spend £100 million on Lukaku and then come and make him play in a different style. The point is, if like, I'm not a scout, I'm not a football expert. You understand? For me to be able to understand this, it means that it's out there for you to see. It's something so obvious that this guy works in a system that's built around him.
Okay.
You get the point I'm trying to make here, right?
Works in a system against like lower teams. He's a flat track bully, in my opinion. Like, what do you think, man?
Like, why do you guys keep saying so, man? Like, I don't know why you guys keep saying so. Like, in the Serie A, he scored against literally Inter. He scored against, he scored against AC. He scored against.
He was brilliant for like 18 months. I'll give you that. He was really good. But to come out and claim that I should be mentioned in the same breath as Karim Benzema, Lewandowski, and the likes.
Yeah, no. He was right. He was right. You should mention them in the same sentence. The sentence is Karim Benzema and Lewandowski are amazing. Lukaku is shit. That's the sentence, and you can mention them together in a sentence.
Guys, really don't cheat on the guy. Okay, like I can agree with that. Like that was a bad statement. Like okay, I don't consider him to be on that level of those guys.
Okay.
I think like he's like on the next level of strikers. Just below them. I think, in my opinion.
Honestly, I might be biased, but I think Aritz is a better striker than Romelu Lukaku. Like, no disrespect. Like, that's just my opinion. Aduriz, I was a huge fan.
Like we love Aduriz as well. Like, I think he's the person like everyone likes, but I think if you're a Barcelona fan, you'll see what I think. I don't know, like comparing Aduriz to.
So Chelsea tried to throw their everything and their nan at the kitchen sink, trying to
But I think Farouk has slight point when he says that Chelsea and Tuchel, they're not utilizing Lukaku at his best. I don't know why it is, because maybe there's some friction because of the interview that Lukaku did where he said he wanted to go back to Inter. And I mean, he literally shit on Chelsea back then, right? When he said, I knew I wasn't going to get to Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern, so that is why I came back to Chelsea. So that is something that
He's such an idiot.
Like if somebody said that about my club, I would be pissed. So I think that sort of created a friction in the dressing room. And I think once you buy a player for 120 million, you try and fit him into your system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the fact that Tuchel is not trying is something that surprises me. And
He doesn't try because
personally, I think that Lukaku might be better off, moving to Tottenham and playing in
obviously
again.
it's plain like daylight, bro. Like why Tuchel doesn't go out of his way to like implement this guy into his team, because others around him would be like like he came out and said such stuff. And we literally won the Champions League without this dude, bro, just 7-8 months ago. Like, how do you think these are grown men, right? Like they have their own egos, their own.
The point now is really the point is that are
Yeah.
better than they are last year? No, they aren't. Unfortunately, they regressed. That's just it. The defense is no longer as mean as it was. Even they are no longer scoring as much as they used to score. Like Lukaku has 10 goals and he's the highest goal scorer in the squad.
I mean, is that for real? Is Lukaku the highest goal scorer in Chelsea?
He's
Oh
the
my
highest
god!
goal scorer in the squad. He has 10 goals.
Lukaku
I
is
remember last year it was Timo Werner who was missing empty nets and he was still the top scorer for
You
Chelsea.
get the point. So my point is just like you can actually like build, because the point is that the system is not that much different. You can actually play like Timo and Lukaku together because like it doesn't work together with what's he called? The third guy.
Which guy?
The tall one. I forgot his name. The German.
Havertz?
Yeah, it doesn't work with Havertz and Lukaku together. But like with Timo Werner and Lukaku, I think that might work. You understand? But like as you just said, the thing is curious. Like, why do you guys scout this player and fork out £100 million for him if you cannot recognize that he's not going to fit into your system?
I think Chelsea has only one thing that they can do about the situation is they need to sell Lukaku as soon as possible, and they need to buy Luka Jovic.
Oh, God.
Well, I think actually the Chelsea situation is quite delicate because like with the ownership thing and like who's gonna buy Lukaku for £100 million right now, and I don't know. Maybe if Kane goes to like United or City.
Man, £100 million. Nobody's paying £100 million for Lukaku. We'll be lucky if they get like 50.
That's the thing, right?
He's an idiot too. Like, more he opens his mouth, the more he embarrasses himself. Nobody
club.
wants like a PR nightmare like Lukaku. What he did
Yeah,
at Chelsea, I don't know how a grown man, a sane person, can actually just dig such a big hole for himself. Like, I just do not understand how you can do it.
like he dug his own grave. Like I think it's way
Yeah,
past
yeah, yeah, yeah.
his career at Chelsea is done. But moving on, like they made a couple of good changes. I thought like Kovacic came in, they got more balance in midfield. They went to a back four. Lukaku obviously came in. Zia came in. In the second half, after we scored, there was like, I know Hoke doesn't agree with me, but I was genuinely concerned for like a 15-minute spell in the second half, like from the 65th to the 80th minute or something, where in my opinion, we were under the cosh and we were getting pressed.
Yeah, we were panicking.
Yeah.
Benzema did an interview in L'Equipe over the week. If you guys, I don't know if you had the opportunity to read it, but then he said something. He said like, this is the concept that even us we referred to in the earlier podcast when we were playing well in December. Right. There's a concept of sterile possession, just letting the opponent have the ball and do whatever you want. You're not going to be able to breach us. So I think that 15-minute spell was basically Real Madrid saying, okay, fine, you can have the ball and you just do whatever you want. You're not going to be able to come inside the box. And to be honest, they barely made it inside the box. Maybe, they tried in some crosses or something, but Real Madrid protected their box well. And especially because I was worried when Militao went off because, Nacho and Alaba is like crossing nightmare. So the thing is like, even then we were able to like, neutralize Chelsea pretty effectively from the box. So for me, I sort of understood why they were doing it. But like if somebody sees it other way, then I'm willing to listen.
Last 10 minutes, I just couldn't wait to see the game finish, because last 10 minutes, it's not like they were dominating us or anything, but we were already like, okay, 1-3 is a good enough score to take to Bernabeu, and we just did not really push that hard. So, it was more on them to attack for the last 10 minutes. So I just really, really wanted it to finish. And when the referee added 5 minutes, I was like really angry. I'm like, can the game just finish, please? And it lasted like 6.5 minutes as well, not just 5.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like being scared. Please let the game finish. Please let the game finish. But it was
Last time
like,
that was
just
comparatively easier. Like
I
only
want to
because
finish.
Camavinga was introduced. In my opinion, I think if Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric still remained as a three, we would have capitulated, at least given away one goal in the last half an hour. That's my opinion. But yeah, like since
Ceballos
I just
actually
want
that
I just want to
reminded
ask
me.
Snodo one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, are you trying to hide from the camera or something?
No, I'm just moving around in my chair. So
You know, when you were
yeah.
speaking, you just completely disappeared. I was like, maybe you're going for some dramatic effect or something.
I'm just swinging around in my chair. Ceballos, I wanted to speak about if you like noticed his off the ball movements or like even on the ball movements, he's I think he's a pretty smart player because he got the fouls that were necessary. He made the runs that were necessary. He pressed when it was necessary.
yeah,
I think like everything he did really well
mm,
to just minimize the damage that Chelsea could have done in those last minutes where when Ceballos was on. So I think we're probably gonna sell him, but I actually really like him at least as a sub, and I really want to keep him. So
he was good. He was good. Like
You know,
and
do you remember when we did the player ratings? I said Ceballos had a role to play, and you told me he did not.
Is this the role he has to play?
I mean, that is the role he has to play, right? Because you need a guy who comes on the shores of the
intentionally
defense.
mocking him. Thank you, Hope. But what do you think about Bale, man? Like, in my opinion, bro, people don't ping him passes. Like, there were a couple of moments where he was.
Exactly, really, yes. I think we discussed this, I think, on one of the previous posts. Like, the guy makes runs, and like, I think people just don't trust him, or I don't know, like, they have like a gang there. It's like, okay, like, we don't pass to Bale or
There's
something.
definitely a gang. What do you expect?
You know,
I mean,
there was this thing.
can you blame anyone though?
There was this moment where they passed the ball to Bale, and he could have gone on and tried to win the header, but he just stopped. Why would you pass the ball to a guy who does that? If it was Benzema instead of Bale, he would have at least tried to win the header and hold the ball up.
Look,
But Bale just let the ball go. So I don't know why you want that guy to play.
Bale is one of the biggest Real Madrid legends. There's no denying that. But I just can't wait for him to leave.
Yeah, that's my sentiment as well. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for everything you did, but not
Even
leave.
like 5 years later, maybe when people ask me how was Bale, I was like, Bale was amazing for us, but the end was not just been end can be a bittersweet or something, but the end was awful. Bale and everyone like, why did the Spanish press call him a parasite and this and that? They're correct though, aren't they?
Mm.
What has Bale been doing for the last few years? Nothing. Even like El Clasico, when we didn't have Benzema, we needed somebody there. Oops, last minute call, I can't come in, I have golf to play, and Bale didn't play for us on El Clasico. I don't know. I think, I don't know. Even in the future, I don't think Bale will really speak of us very fondly, like 20 years later when they interview him. I
Mm.
don't think he's gonna say one good thing about Real Madrid. I don't think so.
Actually, to Noto's points, like to counter that, I think like personally, I feel like newspapers or like journalists should not have the right to call people parasites, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, they will.
Yeah,
because
that's
eventually,
true.
at the end of the day, like it's
I
just
mean, it was rude, but it was true.
like it's
Yeah,
not
I
about
haven't noticed
rude or
that.
being true. Like the point is like we live in an era whereby like it's just very basic things and like okay, the point is like we hold footballers accountable. Then who holds the journalists accountable for
I'll
this?
do you one better. Don't act like a parasite, and nobody's gonna call you a parasite.
But the point is
What?
that there is a contract that was agreed and people signed and like chose not to play him. Like it's not his problem. He shows up to training. He's there. If you want to play me, play me. If you don't play me, it's your problem. Like I earn the money I earn because I have a legal contract there. So the
No, I mean,
Right.
I don't have an issue with the money that he gets because it's like, as you said, it's the contract that you agreed. But the thing is, like, this guy is like, he has no respect for Real Madrid. Let's
Yeah.
be honest here. So
Then the point now becomes,
as much as the right that he has to earn the money, we as fans have the right to hate him for that.
yeah,
I'm
we
not
as
caring
fans,
about
my
that.
point, I agree with you. Like we as fans, we can say shit, but like as a journalist who get paid and get printed papers out there, I feel like you don't have that right to do
I
that.
mean, that was an opinion piece, and I think that was an opinion piece from a fan perspective.
The thing is, the farther away you stay from all these assholes, the better, you know. But in my opinion, it's gonna end. It can't end any more worse than this. And I honestly think
So is this good? Should I just sit like this for the rest of the podcast? I don't know. I don't know what you think about this, but like, yeah, he's
You got your point.
he hasn't played because of himself, and nobody else is there to blame. You can't like make you can't make like Zidane angry and then Ancelotti angry. It's
I mean, don't forget,
Perez
Mourinho was also
angry.
pissed off at him.
Yeah, like uh, he just doesn't
I
care.
think
so-
Perez is not angry at him because I think Jonathan Barnett just came out and said that the relationship between Bale and the management is good, but the relationship beyond that does not exist. Like he does not have any relationship with the fans.
He's earning all this money, you know, doing nothing. But
I
in
mean,
my
Perez,
opinion, I think,
Perez is still good with Bale. I don't know why.
of course, bro, like he's his golden boy. Like Cristiano isn't. It's Bale. Like, but
I mean,
the
Perez
thing
is golden boy is Benzema, but okay.
yeah, but you know what I mean in terms of transfer fees and the whole, you know. But in my opinion, Bale is bound to have some sort of an impact or some sort of a role to play in these last 2 months for sure.
Nah,
I would be surprised if
I
he
lost,
doesn't.
nah,
I
I
lost.
don't think
I was surprised when they brought him on, honestly.
Yeah. Plus, Benzema was like, if you noticed before the substitution happened, Benzema was arguing with Ancelotti from the pitch. Like he was shouting something at Ancelotti. I don't think he wanted to come off.
I think there's another aspect to it. When the game ended, all the players went to the away stand because I think the away stand yesterday was pretty good.
Yeah,
all the-
you could hear it. You could hear the Madrid chants way louder than the Chelsea chants.
Chelsea ones,
Yeah.
they were dead.
So all of the Madrid team, they went and like applauded the away stand, but Bale, as soon as the whistle went off, he was back in the dressing room. So I don't really know why people are going to like him. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
the piece in Marca was an opinion piece representing the thing from the fan perspective. So I understand why.
It's
they
not about
said what they said.
represent. To be honest, like Mo, I feel like people take these things for granted because like we live in such fragile times, and like really, like people need to be accountable for what they do. Like to be honest, that's what I just.
I mean, is there no accountability for Bale in that case?
The point is the accountability for Bale is this: like as a club, you can terminate a contract which you gave him. This is your choice to give him a contract. You understand? So the point is, you talk
So,
about. Like,
I mean, what you're essentially saying that he has no accountability to fans or the press.
no, what I'm saying is that for us, like we can say shit as the fans, but as a press, like Marca is like it's like a big journalist, like journalism. So the point is that.
But the thing is, like, it was not a report; it was an opinion piece, right?
That's what I'm
In an
saying.
opinion piece, you write your opinion.
But the
Okay,
thing is, it's
the
not
point
just
is,
about
like,
the contract.
So like when we have like not safe for work things, why do they like blur those things out and like don't print them?
I mean, calling somebody a spade, like calling a spade is not a problem. Is it?
No, I'm sorry, but like, oh, okay, then I think maybe we have like our opinions differ on this thing. But
football has gone
Yeah, but
past
look, you're saying like he has a contract and he can do whatever he wants, but the thing is, there's professionalism, right?
Yeah.
When you have a contract, yeah, you can just write it out. But if you're a professional and you're a normal person, you will do at least something. And Real Madrid itself, I'm not talking about fans, I'm not talking about, press. Madrid itself, the club has been nothing but professional to him.
Mm.
Yes, you can argue like, yeah, they
Maybe
got
Zidane,
the China contract or something, but then like Madrid has been professional, but Bale has been nothing but disrespectful. So neither of the managers like Bale. I don't think players trust Bale. Fans don't trust Bale. No one trusts Bale. And his agent is acting like Real Madrid are the devils, and Bale has a little yellow thingy on top of him.
You know, that started all this. You know, like anyway, his saga is done. It's a case closed since long ago.
True.
But yeah, so come full time, we take a 3-1 lead back to the Bernabeu, and how much.
Just one thing. I just want to add one thing. Sorry. The thing is, like, even at the club level, I think there is an irritation at with Gareth Bale. Because the thing is, like, in November or like last year, they came on. Gareth Bale sent the club a bill for his medical injuries. He said, "Okay, fine, I got this treatment for my injuries. Please pay it." And the club, like, they said, "We're not going to pay anything." So I think there's an irritation even at the institutional level with Gareth Bale. So it's just not the fans, the press. I think even the club is like tired of him.
Yeah.
You know, the thing with this is, like, I know, like, I personally, like, I'm not Bill's biggest fan, but, like, as you guys said, like, I acknowledge that this guy has done a lot for this club. I think, like, the thing is that personally, where would I rank Bill? It's like he's done good, but he could have been great. You get the point. So for me, this is where I personally put him. Like, I don't put him among the Madrid greats, to be honest. For me, I don't know why, but I just feel
For
like,
me, the issue is, like, I think whatever he did to the best of his abilities, and I accept that. But things like what he has done since, I don't know, 2019, 20, it's been pathetic.
actually, that's the thing. I don't think he did it to his best of his ability. I think, like, there was an extra gear for Bale to click into that he refused to get into. You understand? That's my own personal view on him. Because I
No
feel
matter
like,
what people think, he scored in 2 Champions League finals.
I know, like, I'm not saying he's, as I said, like, he's a legend, but for me, like, he doesn't stand in level of those greats that I grew up watching. You get the point? But I feel like
Yeah, like
he could have
Lukaku
been
and
there.
Mariano Diaz.
Like, he just chose not to be there. You get the point. So that's it was his own personal choice. So what I was like, the thing for me is that I feel like when a player is contracted to a club, right? So, like, there are clauses in this contract that break this in. For example, we saw, like, with Benzemas with the 76ers, right? So the point was that he was, like, violating all these things, and, like, they were fining him and what is not. You understand? But the point is that as long as Gareth Bale has not broken any of the clauses in his contract, I think he will also, then it means that he's professional towards the club as well. Like, okay, him saying I don't know, golf, Wales, Madrid, in all those things, like making fun of the club, putting the mask on his face and all those things, you know, like, they're just things that happen, and, like, we fans get irritated. I get that, but, you know, it is what it is, unfortunately.
He's just doing this on purpose to rile up, the fans. It's simple as that. But yeah, it's
There's
no
the point, you know, once you rile up
talking
the
about
fans and the
Bale,
press, they're gonna fire back, and then you are like,
Yeah,
oh,
but
why did they say this?
before Wales Golf Madrid debacle, at least people were divided on him, and at least the only thing people could say about him that he was injured, he was riddled with injuries, and that we say that about Kaka as well, but nobody hates Kaka, right? So in the future, people would be like, "Oh, Bale was amazing, but he could have been so much more if he wasn't injured." Now, what we will say was Bale was so good, but he turned out to be an asshole. That's what he did by that statement. That's what caused like most of his fans to
nobody
just
can argue that. Like, completely.
forget about him. Don't
Like,
regard him as
it's just my wishful thinking that the season should end in a high note, including his season, and his career should end at a high note, even though it has been pretty soft. I just wish, but it's my opinion. So what did you guys think? 3-1, is it enough? Is Chelsea still in the tie?
Yes,
Come
they're
next
in
week.
the tie, definitely in the tie.
Yeah, the tie is not over.
Yeah. One thing is, if Ancelotti plays the team, like if our aim will be to try to keep the scores, we're done for. If like first 10 minutes will show if we're gonna advance or not. If the first 10 minutes will be Chelsea attacking and us just defending and not doing anything, we are done for. There's no way we're advancing, not a chance. But if we try to, attack them and try to score goals, we have we are probably gonna go in. We need to attack. There's no other way.
Sitting back would be suicidal.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. But how much do you think Militao's absence would make us be a little more defensive?
That's okay. So I trust Nacho. I do trust Nacho. The only thing is that we don't have a tall center back anymore, and that's really bad because even with Militao, our our defending against crosses is shaky at best. But without him, now we are we're in trouble. But other than that, I trust Nacho. Nacho has always stepped up when we needed him, even against PSG second leg. When Mendy was out, he just made Messi disappear. And as a center back, he's even better.
Yeah.
He almost always plays to the best of his abilities, and even if he's short, he can
Yeah.
still handle himself in the air when he tries to. So
Yeah, for me,
I
I
trust
agree.
Nacho.
I agree with Noto, but I think I'm more worried about David Alaba because how he'll perform against Crosses. And another thing that I'm looking forward towards is the fact that how, because I am assuming that Thomas Tuchel will go with four at the back after what happened in the first half, and I don't think Christensen will play again. So for me
That
personally,
completely negates Vinny from the equation.
yeah,
Them
for me
playing further
personally, I'm
back and
looking forward towards Reece James versus
Vinny
Vinicius.
there'll be some,
Yeah,
some,
that's the one I'm looking forward towards.
yeah, there'll be a big matchup.
We need to play Luka
Actually, I
Jovic.
think, in my own personal opinion, I think like Chelsea has been overrated. To be honest, I think the English media and the English pundits have just like overstated what Chelsea is, because like I've seen a couple of Chelsea games and I know like Chelsea isn't as good as they were in the past. And in the past, the thing about Chelsea was like they had this defensive solidity whereby they built on their defense and like just scored one goal and you were done for the game. You couldn't score against them. So right now, like that defensive solidity is in shambles, and like also like Mendy is fumbling these days because like Mendy pulled off like world class saves. So like yeah, I'll say like for me, I think the game is done and dusted. I think like I don't think like there is much to play for in the tie, because I think like a 2 goal deficit, it's quite a lot for them to overcome, to be honest, in my opinion.
Something that sort of pissed me off was the fact that after Mendy made a mistake yesterday, I think Chelsea fans sort of turned on him, and everybody was like, "Oh no, we should have gone with Kepa as a starter." So it is just something that kind of irked me, because this guy's done a lot for you, and you're just giving up on him after one mistake.
Well, actually, to be honest,
Yeah.
like Mendy has fumbled. Okay, I don't agree with that, but I think Mendy has fumbled a lot over the past couple of weeks. Actually, since he came back from AFCON, he's not been as good as he was before.
Yeah.
I think it's people have short memories, actually, to be honest, as well. Yeah.
They lost 4-1 against Brentford. I saw the game. It was a mad second half. I don't know what they were doing. It was just a complete capitulation. But I wanted to ask Ria, like how optimistic should Chelsea be of standing a chance in the second leg?
0.1%.
That's it. Really, that's it. I really agree with Ria. I don't feel very confident like that, Chelsea. Because to be honest, like, although like we're saying like Chelsea controlled the game in the second half of the game, like for around 65 to around 85 minutes. Like, to be honest, I wasn't very like, okay, except for the Lukaku. There was one Lukaku header which should have been a goal, to be honest. Except for that, I don't think I was actually like worried about that. I felt like we could still be playing till today and they wouldn't have scored. Like, that was just it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they play like this at the Bernabeu, we're going to smash them like 5-0. So it's actually Chelsea has lost it. In my opinion, they have lost it already.
No, I don't think we should say things like that. This is football, anything can happen, and
Yeah, that is true.
it's not like I don't even think it's as bad as anything can happen. It's quite possible that they will come back. I mean, we lost 4-0 against Barcelona on Bernabeu. What else do you want to see?
So the point is this: it's not about like them. It's not about saying it's impossible for them to come back. It's just like I feel confident in our chances. That's for me. Like,
Yes,
it's not like saying,
that's what.
So the thing is
my
that I hate the line where people say like, okay, like if Chelsea play like this, no, Chelsea didn't play like this. We made them play like that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing actually. So it's not about like all of a sudden like we were good and they were shit. No,
Frank Leboeuf will not like you saying this. That guy was like pretty angry yesterday.
So actually, we took this. Real Madrid took the spotlight. We already Bayern has lost 0-1 to Villarreal. So that was also one
Thing is,
game.
like last few months, I've been finally convinced that Benzema is on Hurricanes level.
Really, I don't know. These English people, they live somewhere, man. Like, really, like, did you guys watch that? Like, when like he said that to Henry, and Henry was like, last few months, like it was like Henry was
Only now.
shocked. Like,
Only now.
like I don't know where these people English people live, man. Like, really,
In England, they live in England.
There's a very good subreddit on on Reddit. It's called Our Football Highlights, where you can watch the post-match and the pre-match of BT Sport, CBS, and
yeah.
I was watching it last night, and Micah's reaction when when Benzema scored the hat trick, like you could see how salty he was. Like he didn't it's this inferiority complex people have, man. Like they're Man City. Like how big can Man City be? Like Man City is just nothing like compared to us. So they would have this sort of inferiority complex against us, like naturally. So
Actually, I don't know. Like I feel like that's why like I mentioned about the thing about with Chelsea. Like they oversell these English teams. Really, they overhype them and like they oversell them because I don't know what they smoke in England.
In the pre-match at BT Sport, it was the prick Steve McManaman. Like okay, like I've changed my opinion on him. Like he is so salty. Like now I can see it. Rio and
I told you, right? I told you before that he always
it was
gets
evident
salty.
last night.
He played for us. Why is he so salty?
He's a two-time Champions League winner with us. Like I have no idea.
I think Florentino Perez actually wanted to push him out when he
that
won
was
the presidency. He Perez sort of stole Varane last season, and this season they're doing the same thing to Asensio. So McManaman was the guy they were trying to do the same thing to, and he refused to leave. So I think there's some sort of friction between
last
him.
season, did you say Varane?
Yeah, I mean, okay. The thing is, like,
to leave himself.
The reason Varane mainly wanted to leave was because of the fact that Madrid did not respect him enough to give him a contract that he thinks is deserved. Because like when Alaba came in, we've given him 12 million, and Varane is like on 6.5 million. So you see the difference. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why Varane wanted to leave, and they're doing the same thing to Marco Asensio.
Broken through young, so like I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I think this is something that happens at Real Madrid because even Dani Carvajal, like he was one of the best right backs in his prime, and if you look at his wages, he's paid like 3 million, and we are paying Luka Jovic 8 million, 9 million. So that's something that that's something that if you're not from the academy, that might piss you off. So and they're doing the same thing to Asensio. They're giving him a contract that's probably going to be lower than what he's currently earning. So essentially, they're trying to push him out. And as far as I know, it's AC Milan wants him. So let's see what happens.
I completely lost the point that I was building up to. So that's pretty useless now. But I remember Joey Cole, these guys, Joey Cole, Rio Ferdinand, and Steve McManaman was there, and Steve was saying that Real Madrid doesn't have any chance. This team, I've seen them play. I saw them in the class.
Even Joe Cole said that, right? Even Joe Cole said that.
Joe Cole's a Chelsea fan. Like you can sympathize with him doing that. He's rooting for his team, right? Like at home. But Steve McManaman said they don't stand a chance. They're gonna run circles around them. Like this Chelsea team has too much tactical nous and high intensity for this Madrid midfield to cope, and we proved them wrong.
I mean, Slaven Bilic said yesterday, right, that Real Madrid played like a Premier League team. So I don't know.
Yeah, like he mentioned, like we had phases where we dropped to a back 10, back 5, back like breaking when there was an opportunity. Like transitions were much more measured than like they're accustomed to seeing from us and whatnot. But the second leg is going to be mad. They're still in this. Like I don't want to be too ahead of ourselves, but like a last footnote before we wind this up, we have a game against Getafe. If I'm not mistaken, they're 11th in the league table, right? 11th or 12th?
14th.
14th, eh? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Let me check.
I think, somewhere around there, mid-table on Saturday. Do you honestly think that they might be a banana peel in the making? Or do you think
they're 14th?
Yeah, so like you guys are.
I think it's gonna be more difficult than Chelsea. That's what we do always. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. It's gonna be more difficult than Chelsea.
I think Getafe are missing a player in Moro Arambari because I think that guy is like one of their main players, but he's suspended. So, but the thing is, like the guy who might come in to replace him is like I think Gonzalo Villar is going to replace him, or maybe Oscar Rodriguez.
Played for us.
Gonzalo Villar did not, but his brother does.
No.
Oscar Rodriguez used to play for
us. Scares.
Oscar Rodriguez used to play for us, and then the biggest threat obviously is Borja Mayoral. So.
Oh, Borja Mayoral, yeah.
He's so that's our player. I forgot about him.
He has like 4 goals and an assist in the last 10 games.
What is Borja the biggest threat? Isn't it Enes Ronaldo? I think he has like.
Enes Ronaldo is pretty good. Like I rate him pretty
Oh,
high.
I'd be more scared of Borja Mayoral because this guy knows how to get goals.
It's more to do with the fact that our former players
He's always
they are very keen on a visit with a goal.
But,
Yeah,
but the good thing
we're
is like
dead.
the good thing is like Arambari is not going to be here, so
Mm. Yeah, so final stretch of the season, 8 games to go. Barca second. Like
we need 5. We need to win 5 games
yeah, 5
for the
games,
title.
right?
For the title. Yeah, we need to win 5 games for the title.
Mm. And we have some tricky fixtures, right? We have Betis left.
Betis is the last game of the season, so I hope we wrap up the title before that.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I think like Getafe, Sevilla, they're going to be tricky fixtures. And I think even we still have to face Atleti. I think this time at the Wanda.
Actually, I actually counted my chickens before the eggs hatched. I was actually thinking like we could get like a God of Honor at the Wanda. Actually, if we had not lost to Barcelona, like we would have won, and like we would have gone to the Wanda and would have gotten like a God of Honor for being champions. That would have been really.
Now they're giving it to us. The salty people.
Simeone, Simeone is a class person. He would have forced them to give.
Like since we are on the topic about Atleti, just a small footnote. What did you guys think about their performance against City? If you guys watched the game or read about it?
Oh, that was I would rather watch paint dry than watch that
I saw the
game
game,
ever
11
again.
men behind the
That was
goal.
awful. That was so
Interesting.
boring.
I think we have different taste in football than you guys, man. Like it was a really good game in my opinion.
It was a
Come
good game. Like it wasn't boring. Like
Yes, it was. It was just Atletico just sitting in their half, not doing anything. 5-5-0.
that's
I don't know. I really felt it was like because the point is like City couldn't break them down. So like that's City's problem, not Atleti's.
From my point of view, it is like this. Okay, we need different styles of football in football. Not everybody needs to be playing attacking football. But then there is defensive football and conservative football. There's attacking football, and then there is what Atleti did.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Burnley is proactive.
defensive football is when we played under Zidane on his second stint. That's defensive football. What Atletico is doing, that's terrorism.
I don't know, man. It's just like
I mean, defensive football is something that Juventus used to play. With the BBC and Buffon. But this is something else, man. This is something else.
But I think the game plan was limit them to maximum 2 goals, and then we head back to the Wanda and get the job done. I think they're still in this, very much in this.
They are
I think the
still
game-
in this, but
I think the
that's
game
such an
plan
awful
was-
way to go around, though.
Bro,
Like,
like, away
right?
from
That's
home.
such a small club mentality for a club that's
They're away
trying
from
to be a
home, man.
big
Like,
team.
If you let City dictate the tempo, you're done for. Like you wouldn't stand a chance. Like they'll rip you apart. So I think that was.
I see why it was a good strategy because the fact is like you need to be compact and not give them spaces. But the idea was also to be able to hit them on the counter, and the fact is that Atleti were not able to go on the counter. I mean, these guys had 0 shot. Like these guys had 0 shots, not 0 shots on target. They had 0 shots.
the thing is now, did you watch the game, Mo?
I watched like some of it, not.
So actually, the thing now becomes this like you have to put it into context. So like really, Atleti had like really good situations, but like the problem with that was that they were so far away from the City half that like man and Joe.
That's the thing. That's the thing. How can you say you have good situations when you're not in positions to take advantage of?
Oh, really? Like they were in good situations, to be honest. Like they were like in very good situations, but like they just had to like run the whole length of the pitch, and like it was literally impossible, like and Griezmann isn't as fast as he used to be. Also, like
Joe. Farouk, I wanted to ask you something, man. Like I saw the game as well, right? But after the game, they said they had 0 shots. But do you remember the Llorente shot that he had?
Yeah,
it was a cross.
I was thinking exactly that.
Well, like Llorente, he flops.
Just a second. I had to drop off. I have to go for a road trip tomorrow morning, so I'll just drop off and you guys carry on. Okay.
All good. It's all good.
All right.
Then. Have a nice road trip. Don't get high.
Good night. Bye. Yeah.
Yes, as I was saying, like Llorente fluffed his line for that. Like really, like that was a good one. But I could feel that it was like too like you couldn't get in control in time and all that. Yeah. So anyways, it is what it is. But Well, to me, it was a good game.
You're the only passage of play I saw was Llorente being offside.
I nearly fell asleep during that game, like every other minute.
Wow.
But yeah, to just like wrap this up, Villarreal also doing very well, with an average squad. Emery
I think Gerard Moreno, from what I read, Gerard Moreno missed quite a few of good chances.
even Danjuma missed a couple of good chances. The
think-
Moreno chance where Neuer is out in midfield, trying to distribute the ball.
Does
It's
it
all good.
matter? They're gonna go to Germany and Bayern's gonna score 13 goals as they do.
In my opinion,
Because
if they don't concede
I
in the
mean-
first 30 minutes, they're ended. They're
I think the fact is like people tend to people don't have the correct idea of how good Bayern is. People say that they're better than Liverpool. They're not.
no.
And the thing is like they have a pretty weak defense. And the fact
Yeah.
is Villarreal is not Salzburg. So
And actually,
or
that's
even
and
Barcelona.
they have the key team. It's Unai Emery, for God's sake. Like people should start
Yeah.
respecting that.
He is a specialist.
Yeah, it's Unai Emery. Like, okay, like they might get trashed, but I feel like Emery should get the benefit of the doubt. And as Sunay said, I think if they don't concede in the first 30, 45 minutes, I think Bayern has a game on their hand.
Mm.
So
And we should not
Absolutely.
forget the fact that these guys went to Juventus and beat them 3-0. So
Yeah, like that game was
so
something
then that
else.
would be like bragging that you've defeated like United or stuff like that. Like it's all the same thing, like United.
People like
I
Capoue,
mean,
Parejo,
Juventus from the first half is different to the Juventus that they have currently, right? The thing is like they have Vlahovic and they have improved.
Yeah.
Relatively. I think
Yeah.
Juventus currently is better than United, like personally.
for sure.
I
For
don't
sure,
know.
miles ahead.
They're both two garbage teams. I don't even know what's happening.
But I think we should call this a day. Guys, before we go, if you have any kind of constructive criticism or feedback regarding our podcast, you could comment either on the Reddit post, on YouTube. You could reach us on our socials, on Insta, on Twitter. We tend to be very active on there. So if you guys have any kind of feedback, please be free. And we need your help to improve our content. Any final
And
thoughts?
And also let us know if you're team Farouk and team Suned in the Lukaku debate. So.
Oh my god, I hope I have a landslide victory.
Actually, given the fact that last night, like Lukaku was trending, I think we know who's gonna win this. Actually,
Lukaku or Stormzy, he had multiple doppelganger doing the work for him. Anyway, so until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.